In my experiment, we did an experiment with long juvenile variety soybeans. This is a soybean variety that was developed for tropical countries. Soybeans are photoperiod sensitive, which means that as the daylight decreases, soybeans will go to flower and create seed, create soybeans. But in tropical countries where the sunlight stays relatively consistent throughout the year, you might not get consistent results with soybeans that are developed for the northern hemisphere. So long juvenile soybeans were developed in Brazil, and they haven't really been tested in the northern hemisphere. There's one experiment that was done in North Carolina that tested the yield and the growth of the plants, but there hasn't been any data on the protein and oil content. So in my experiment, we were testing the protein and oil percentage, and we were comparing them to commercial varieties. We sent them to a USDA lab in Raleigh, North Carolina, and then we analyzed the results. So these are our commercial varieties right here and right here. And these other ones are our long juvenile varieties. And overall, they performed about the same as the commercial varieties, which is a very good sign, which means that they can be cultivated successfully. We only had one that underperformed. That was this one right here, that performed at about 34% protein content. We want to keep protein percent above 34% because if it's under 34%, you either can't export it or there will be price cuts to your exports. So you want to make sure that you have a good protein content. Our protein-oil ratio also turned out very well. Generally for soybeans, you want a 2-to-1 protein-to-oil content. Ours came up with a 1.8-to-1 as an average across the board. So overall, the long juvenile varieties performed very well. I think this indicates that there is a lot of potential for these to be grown here. I think I would redo the experiment with more commercial varieties to make sure that there's a better comparison, because we had 10 varieties long juvenile and 2 of the commercial variety, and so it could be a little bit skewed. But with the comparisons that we do have, I think it turned out pretty well. Additionally, we had some frost damage that it kind of throws in an unknown factor. I couldn't find any research that said anything about how frost affects the quality of the grain, and so our soybeans ended up being killed by frost in December, so we're not sure how that might have affected it. In theory, we think that it shouldn't have, because by that point the grains were already fully developed, but we can't really know for sure. Thank you.